there's one thing which kind of is common between all these gentlemen here. You said the new team, right? But it's like the old team because they're all people who've been associated with Trump for many years, decades in some cases, and old relationships plus loyalty. I think that is the common thread here. As far as the new economic team is concerned. So let me just quickly run you through the top sort of 4 or 5 positions here. Treasury Secretary, really top of the line in terms of posts which markets were watching very closely. And mind you, once this appointment came through, markets actually did rally a little bit. The understanding till that point, because other appointments had already been happened, and I'll run you through those, but the understanding in markets was that, well, it's all going to be very good for the US, but it's going to be bad for the rest of the world. With Mr. Scott Bessent, who's been nominated for the Treasury Secretary's post, who's a Wall Street veteran, right? He was Trump's biggest ally, or the biggest allies on Wall Street. He's someone who's worked for George Soros' investment firm, and he's someone who's a Wall Street insider, and that's the reason why financial markets, sort of took it very well. His nomination very, very well. In terms of his stance, he favors tariffs as a one-time adjustment. He's hawkish in China. He's also been famously critical of the FOMC. He's actually, made a suggestion that maybe they should get a shadow Fed chair, and in that sense, make the current Fed chair Powell irrelevant in that sense, although he's walked back a little bit from that position since. He's seen as a bit of a fiscal hawk. He's been critical of how the previous Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, used T-bills to fund the government. And that's the other point which markets like, that with him, the fiscal is not going to be a complete runaway. So that's the first one, which is the Treasury Secretary. Scott Bessent essentially is a nominee here. The Commerce Secretary comes next. Howard Lutnick is a longtime Trump friend. He's also, by the way, the CEO of the financial services firm Cantor Fitzgerald. I mean, they're, of course, they're a research house plus investment banking services in the US and emerging markets as well. The Commerce Department is important under Mr. Lutnick because it houses 2 important departments. One sets duties on goods the US has determined are unfairly priced or subsidized, which comes into the US, and also it monitors technologies and sensitive tech which needs to be kept out of the reach of countries which the US deems to be adversarial, countries like China. The other two, the National Economic Council is number 3. Kevin Hassett is was the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors for 2 years when Trump was president the first time around in 2016. He's long argued for tax cuts, corporate tax cuts. He sort of pushed that through in the first Trump term as well. He'll be responsible for setting the agenda on a wide range of economic policy matters. This is essentially the economic team within the White House, which is going to work closely with other sort of teams. The last one, United States Trade Representative, the USTR, Jamieson Green was Mr. Robert Lighthizer, chief of staff in Trump's first presidency. Mr. Lighthizer occupied this position of the trade representative in the first term, and Mr. Green has worked with him. He was essentially his protege. He's again, like Mr. Lighthizer, a China hawk. He's arguing for Congress to revoke Beijing's permanent normal trade relation status. And he also wants to impose new and higher tariffs on Chinese goods. So, I would say 3 out of these 4 are hawks, real hawks. The one person here, which is the Treasury Secretary, he's someone who's seen as more benign in that sense, and also perhaps because he's a Wall Street insider, market friendly. The question, of course, is it's at the end of the day Donald Trump who's the president. How much power and how much agency will each of these gentlemen have to decide policy? Or will all of them have to walk back what Mr. Trump wants to do? I think those are things we'll find out. 20th of January, of course, is the inauguration when Mr. Trump takes over. And we will start to hear on policy front from day one. We actually already are. And I think that will pick up pace as we go along. Back to you.